Okay, this is my live stream for R, and I have just set this all up on Windows. As some of you know, I've been on a MacBook, and I still am using a MacBook. I'm just trying to make a different workflow right now. So my workflow is going to be record and do all of the programming on a PC with Windows, and as soon as the record is done, it'll drop it right into my MacBook folder, and then I can throw it into Final Cut Pro and edit it. But the goal is to be able to do more, not necessarily live edits, but the minimal amount of editing in general. So I'm trying to streamline that. Slowly but surely it's getting there. I'm just practicing right now with my PC setup. All right, so that being said, let me talk to you about what we're going to talk about today. We are going to be using R and RStudio tools to unzip a directory full of files automatically. So let me go ahead and show you an example set of files. Literally, I just put this PC together and I'm using it. And so I'm downloading all these things I need. As you can see in my downloads folder, I have test.zip and then a few other zip files in there. Now, I don't really need these anymore. This is just an example. But imagine you had 50 or 60 zip files, or maybe somebody at your work center is sending you zip files every day, daily, and they've accumulated to 30 for the whole month, and you need to unzip each one. Well, instead of going to the right click, extract all, clicking all these buttons, and waiting, and then having all these pop-ups come up for 30 different files, we're going to do this automatically with R. So this is a little bit of a deviation from statistics and machine learning, things like that. But these tools are super helpful that I figured I'd throw this in there in the mix just to show you how to do it, because it's really simple, honestly. And with that being said, let's do a couple of preliminary things just to get you started. You need the URL or the address of the location or the path, right? And in Windows, you have the path as just plain download, so that's not really going to help you too much. You can right-click on the files that are in this location and click on Properties. And then we can see down here where it says location, you can usually get an idea of the location that way. We can go ahead and copy this entire location here, highlight it and do Control-C. Let's just keep that. So now that we have this, let's go back to our RStudio. And what you're going to notice too is that I actually have R version 4.0 installed. If you don't, that's fine. As long as you have a 3-point-something version, this should work. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to line 2 here. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. So as you can see, I'm going to create a directory. So we just found that. So we'll call it my directory, and we're going to set that equal to our path. But we want to put it in quotes as well. So keep that in quotes. And then finally, we don't need the C:, so delete that. And remember, backslashes like this are actually escape characters, so you can either put a double backslash for each one, or you can convert them all to forward slashes. I'm going to go ahead and convert them all to forward slashes. And you don't need one at the very end here, so that's fine. So we've got that. That's fine. So that's a placeholder for our directory. Now, what we want to do is I'm going to show you how to download a tool that's going to help you called Plier. So click on Packages down here, and then click on Install, and just type in, make sure your repository is CRAN, type in PLYR, and it's the Plier library. Now, mine's going to install to the default library, which is my 4.0. You might have a 3-point-something in there, that's fine. So just click on Install. It's going to take a few seconds to install, and then you should be good to go. Make sure Install Dependencies is also checked. That way, if it requires other libraries, it'll go ahead and download those as well. All right. Now that we have that, yours should be loaded by now. We're going to add that library. So library PLYR, and do Control-Enter on that to load the library. Control-Enter on my directory. You can see on the right-hand side down here, you have my directory stored. My shortcut keys add a minus and plus and things like that onto the R, so don't worry about that. I just delete them. Okay, so let's get going here. We want to get a list of those zip files, right? So let's just create a list called zip file, and this will be the list of files. So a convenient thing that R has built in is list.files. So we're going to use that function, and we're going to say, okay, what's the path? Where do we want to look at those files? We're going to say path is equal to, and our path is our my directory path, so we can make that into my directory. No problem there. And we want it to only list files that are zip files, so let's add a pattern. Our pattern is equal to, in quotes, star.zip. So the star, if you don't know, stands for basically a wildcard, but it's as many letters or characters to the left of that star, or to the left of the period actually, it'll grab as long as it has a .zip extension at the end. That's all that's saying. I'm sure you've seen that before. All right, so then we'll do, we need to put in full names equals true. Full.names. That way it gets the entire, so because when you're doing this, we can do, it'll actually just do users mark G downloads / filename1.zip. Instead of filename1.zip, filename2.zip, filename3.zip, we're going to have it have the entire path. So that's why full names equals true. It's usually a general bet safer to do, because if the function doesn't actually know to use a local directory, then it'll take care of it for you, because it's going to give you the entire path. And I'll show you that in just a second. So on number 6, I'll hit Control Enter. Let me zoom back out for you. Now you can see up here on the right hand side, I have zip file. It's got 3 files in there. We can go down to our command or our console and just type in zip_files or file, hit enter, and you can see the entire path inside of quotes. Users, mark G, downloads, all of them are in there. So that's what it did. Pretty simple, straightforward. Now that we have that, now we're going to use this cool, powerful thing called, the plier package. We're going to use ldply, which stands for kind of like lapply, dplier. And lapply is, hey, let's apply a function or a set of rules to every single thing in the list and then bring it all back together. So the plier function and the plier package is really meant for us taking like a list of objects, doing something to each one, and then putting them back together. That's all we're doing. It's real simple. So we're going to set our data is equal to, and our data is actually equal to our zip files. We want to send in our zip files, but now we're going to say, what do we want to do with these zip files? We're going to apply a function. So the .fun, and then the function is called unzip, and that's just part of the R base package, so you don't have to download anything for this. I don't think it's part of plier, but it could be. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then we have to give it a directory to actually unzip these two. So we're just going to do the same directory. So I'm going to call it my directory again. And that should do it. So let's go ahead and Control Enter on that. Actually, let me show you my downloads again. So you should see my downloads here. I'll try to bring it up quickly when I run this to see it working. So let's go ahead and do Control Enter on that, and I'll do Alt Tab. And you can see it was that quick. It actually just did that. So I have 3 new files here that are all unzipped, really fast, and all automated. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's extremely simple to do. I hope that you can find R and RStudio to be useful, not only for your statistics or any type of program that you want to do, but use it as a tool in your work area to automate the boring stuff, automate the boring tasks. Anyways, if you find this helpful, please like and subscribe. But more importantly, if you can share this on social media, that'd be great. Share it on Twitter, Facebook, anything that you have. Let's see. Oh, and finally, if you thought this was helpful, there's an actual playlist that I'll bring up, and it's got Practical R for Business. It's not really meant as statistics or anything like that. So let me bring it up here. So this right here is my playlist. It's got Flex Dashboard. It's got RStudio shortcut tips. But these particular videos and tutorials are meant for somebody that's in the business realm that wants to automate some of the boring stuff. So that's it. And this was my first live stream on the new computer. I was rushing for it. I'm not quite set up completely the way I want to, but I hope that you found this helpful. And again, please see you guys next time by subscribing. Have a good one.